Hi, and welcome to another Date with the Dream Alchemist, where we interview everyday people who achieve and do extraordinary things. Now, today we have on, and I'm very lucky to have this guest, a man that I've seen myself speak who truly inspired me. We have Mr. John Hatalka, who is known as the Achievement Thinking Speaker. And I saw John many, many years ago speak in a school and a networking event where he was actually giving away £20 notes. Couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. He had a pocket full of £20 notes and he was giving away. And John's an absolutely fantastic magician as well. So welcome, John Hatalka. Yay!
Well, thank you very much, and I'm delighted and honoured that you've invited me on the show. Thank you. And I talk about inspiring people. It's you who inspires me. With your enthusiasm and your happiness and your hair and your sideshow bob hair and everything.
Oh, everything. Hey, it's won awards, this sideshow bob hair.
Oh, and the acting. Anyway. So thank you.
Let us start off with, where does your story begin?
Well, okay, it's I suppose it started in the real story about 1989. Don't panic. I'm not going to spend going year by year or minute by minute. But in 1989, I was made redundant for the third time in 7 years as an optician, and I thought, what am I going to do with my life now? Because I felt really down, and I mean, being made redundant 3 times in a row, and I wasn't happy with optics. Nothing wrong with optics, just wasn't for me. So I decided to follow my passion, and my passion was magic. Magic was my hobby, and decided to turn it into a career. And I started performing close-up magic around the tables in local restaurants. And in 12 years, I built up my career to such a degree that I was working for nearly half of the blue chip companies in the UK. So I'm flown around the UK, flown around Europe, entertaining at their executive events, entertaining their executive boards, entertaining their top clients, working on their exhibition stands, generating I don't know how many thousands, if not millions of pounds worth of leads. So I did really, really, really well. And then in 2002, I had a crisis in confidence. And it was weird how there's a man here that could stand in front of hundreds of people, and yet when I was off stage, I wasn't a nervous wreck, but I wasn't as confident as I should be. Yeah. And the reason for that was that I did 3 shows in a row to large audiences of about 600, 700 people at a time, and in my opinion, they didn't go well.
Why, in your opinion, why didn't they go well?
In my opinion, because I didn't get the laughs that I thought I should have got, or I didn't get the reaction that I thought I should have got. I now know it was what I created in my mind, but at the time, because I surrounded myself with people who wouldn't or couldn't give me the moral support that I needed, because I was in business all on my own, there was nobody else to bounce off of, I just focused on those 3 presentations out of I don't know how many hundreds, thousands, that didn't work so well. So this crisis in confidence manifested in my business going downhill because I was doing my marketing, I was getting on the phone, I was arranging meetings, but I wasn't converting them into sales because I was afraid of letting my clients down, unless the circumstances were just so. So consequently, I was talking myself out of a lot of work.
So quite interesting, really. You've said, so out of all the hundreds of shows that you did, the brilliant shows, you focused on 3.
Exactly.
Go the way. It's really interesting.
So, as for instance, the example I tend to give whenever I speak is that can you identify with this kind of thinking? I would do, so let's say I do 100 presentations, I would do 94, which would be really good presentations, solid presentations. I do 3 presentations, which would be absolutely out of this world. I mean, I'd get standing ovations. I bet people throwing flowers at me, being carried around the room shoulder high, women standing on tables and chairs, shouting at the top of their voices, "Kiss me, kiss me, kiss me."
And did they? Did you kiss them?
Actually, now that I think about it, that last bit was a dream I had last night. But anyway, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, right? So now, but then I do 3 presentations, which were not all that good. So we focus on the 97 good ones or the 3. Anyway, so that was I suppose, the starting point. And loads of people had confidence in me. They saw me perform, they loved what I did, but I didn't have the confidence in myself. Hence, that's how the journey started, where I suppose in hindsight, something wonderful came out of it. So I started studying successful people, I started studying the mindset of successful people, and about 6, 7 years ago, I read in Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He said, private victory before public victory. In other words, what goes on in our heads, once we achieve victory over what goes on in our heads, then we will achieve victory in the real world. So I started thinking, how is that so? And consequently, I started studying a little bit of NLP and mindset and goodness knows whatever else. And I designed, or I came up with my achievement thinking principles. And hence I became an achievement thinking speaker. So now I get hired by companies and to speak at their events, and they normally have me on after lunch because I make it funny and I use magic in there as well.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned challenges that you faced, as in your confidence went down, and so that led to not being able to get any work. Is there anything else that was a challenge for you during that period of time?
The challenges were mainly the challenges that I created myself. They were really illusions. In other words, I didn't feel that I was good enough. My main challenge, my main battle was me. And there were loads of people that had confidence in me, but I didn't have confidence in myself, so it was very low self-esteem. That also manifested in me being really overweight, and I've been overweight, I was overweight since my late teens, in fact since being a child, but obese since the late teens, and I think for about May 2010 I got up to 20 stone. So for about 15 years before that, so that's May 2010, that'll be 1995 or something like that, I yo-yoed between 18 and 20 stone. When we first met, I was quite big.
Yeah.
And once I got my head around this achievement thinking and focusing and various principles, I lost the weight and my business turned around and I had focus and following my life's purpose, which is great.
And what's your life's purpose?
My life's purpose. On a spiritual level, it is to have fun and enjoy myself and experience as much of life as I possibly can. On the planet, it's about making a difference to people's lives. It's about being an inspiration, and it's also about being inspired by others. Because I believe there's always a two-way street. Many inspirational people also need to be inspired as well. We're all inspiring each other at the end of the day. We're all helping each other out.
The cycle of life, going round and round.
The cycle of life. I'm going to get a little line now.
Yeah. Yeah, sing for us if you want to. Just to go back, John, you mentioned about when you were during that low period of time for yourself now to lose a lot of weight. How was it? 7 stone you lost?
That's right. It ended up being about 7 stone.
Yeah, 7 stone. Because even myself, when I wanted to lose weight, 7 pounds can feel difficult at times. So, and I know you've got your achievement thinking principles. Do you mind sharing some of them?
No, I'm not going to share them. They're all mine.
They're all for yourself.
And mine are for me and nobody else. So the principles are as follows. The basis, the foundation for all the principles is about developing an awareness. So it's about what's going inside our heads and what's going on around us. And it's also about slowing down. So they're the two main themes throughout all the principles. The first principle is to develop what's going on, the thoughts that's going on inside your head. So it's about your self-talk. It's about because when you catch yourself saying something that is unhelpful, and I don't like using the term negative or positive, because exactly what is negative or positive? It's going to be something that is helpful or unhelpful. For instance, is war a negative or a positive? War, it can be helpful to, it's certainly unhelpful for a lot of people because lives have been lost, but it can be helpful to other people because it's a living for them. So is it helpful? Is it positive or negative? So it's about being whatever is unhelpful or helpful to you. And by the way, I don't think war is a good thing. I'm just saying that it can be interpreted with 2 ways.
Yeah.
So it's got to be about what is helpful or unhelpful to you. And if we catch ourselves saying unhelpful thoughts like I am not good enough, I can't do this, this is impossible, then we have a better chance of changing that belief to a helpful belief.
Mm.
The second principle, and once again, that happens if we slow down. We've got to slow down to do that, because quite often we're going from task to task to task, that we just automatically do whatever we need to do or what we think we need to do. But
Do you
if we,
mean slow down in your life, like not maybe working too much or running around
yeah,
or?
but it could slowing down in as much as taking time for me, taking me time, and we'll
Mm.
expand on that a little bit later. And you don't need to take hours off. It could just be just a couple of minutes break. Um, the second principle is asking for help when you need it. So that's developing an awareness of when your ego is getting in your way. Because where quite often we tend to think, I can't ask for help because asking for help is a weakness. In fact, I used to think asking for help was a weakness. And in actual fact, it's not a weakness, it's a strength. It shows that you've got an awareness of your environment, of your circumstances. It shows you've got a willingness to learn, to grow, and it shows you've got character and courage because you're willing to change and ask for help. And the other thing is that it's amazing how we all have self-doubt. Even the most famous people, even the richest people, have self-doubt from time to time. The most confident person has self-doubt from time to time, and that's okay. We all need to ask for help.
Yeah.
Third principle is focus. What are we focusing on? Are we focusing on something that is helpful to us or focusing on something that is unhelpful to us? And also, are we focusing on the beliefs, or should I say the unhelpful beliefs of other people? So, for instance, unhelpful beliefs of other people, the media are great at doing this, where they're saying, we're going into a recession, oh, the world is falling apart, so we believe it. In the middle of the recession, the number of people that said, oh, the market's flat, the market's dead, that's it, we may as well not batten down the hatches. Well, is it actually flat or dead?
Yeah.
During the recession, the last recession, I did a little bit of research near the beginning, and I found in some of the, and I forget which sectors I looked at, where where it was supposed to be flat and dead, there were organisations that were going under, and there were people that were being made redundant. But by the same token, there were also organisations and individuals that were flourishing.
Yeah.
So what were they doing? So even though if the market is flat or dead, fine, I'm saying that we are responsible for our own success. And if things are against us, okay, we might have to work a little harder, and we might have to be more creative to achieve our success, however we define that success. But the thing is, it's achievable. Maybe you might, instead of earning £1,000,000, you might earn £750,000. It's still a heck of a chunk of money to earn. Fourth principle is collaboration, working with others, which is what we do quite often.
Yeah.
In groups, when we co-mentor each other, coach each other. But it's also about finding people to work with, so it's mutual benefit. And then the fifth principle.
Collaboration is something for people not to feel scared of at all, because I know that sometimes, especially if you work by yourself, that you people don't want to work with other people. But that's when I really see, especially in my business as well, it really starts to flourish because it seems like it gives it a new energy.
Yeah.
You know, gives it just really injects some energy into there. So I think collaboration is huge, and if we all did it, you know, I always think there's enough work out there for everybody.
There is. I mean, I'm a great believer that we've got to look after ourselves first, and then we'll look after everybody, as many other people as we possibly can.
Mm.
Now, I'm not being greedy when I say that. What I'm saying is that, and you know this yourself, because the number of times where I've looked out for business for me, but then something's come along where it's been useful for you, and I've broken introductions, and you've done exactly the same thing. But we've got to look after ourselves first, because if we don't look after ourselves first, we can't help anybody else.
Yeah, very true.
And the final principle is just to have as much fun as you possibly can. And fun is defined in so many different ways. Some people think it's just about having a laugh, which it can be. Fun could be doing your work. I mean, I enjoy doing my work. I have fun doing what I'm doing. So it's wherever you have fun, try and involve that in your life in every way you can.
So you said before. So I know you're a magician. You studied optometry, didn't you? So
yeah.
What got you into then speaking now? Because you're a fantastic speaker, and I know your achievement thinking principle is really taken off. It's really, people are really hungry for it. What got you going from one extreme to another? Did you think you had nothing to lose, or was it the magic, or what got you to this point where you are now?
Right. When I was a corporate magician, I used to communicate other people's messages. So, for instance, a blue chip company would ask me to talk to their sales force about working together as a team or whatever. But it wouldn't be my message. I would say to them, so what is it that you want me to say? And then I'd put together a presentation and a script and then use the magic to get those messages across. So I would use the magic to punctuate the message that I'm communicating. And for many years, I thought, I'm going to say for many years, up until about maybe 7 years ago, I thought, what have I got to say that is new? What have I got to say? Why should people listen to me? I'm a failure. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I was challenged at a professional speaking association meeting to put together a talk about my own experiences, which was I suppose, the beginning. It wasn't called achievement thinking then. It was just me talk about my life and what I found useful to me.
Yeah.
And I tried it, and people really liked it, and that was great. And then I thought, well, maybe there is something in this. Not only is there something in this from a commercial point of view, but maybe I might be able to make a difference to people's lives as well. Now that would be great, because that's a double whammy. Because if we can earn a decent living and help people as well, that's phenomenal. And so over the years, as I said, I started studying loads of self-development books, and then I thought I need some sort of a hook. What can I call it? Because when it comes to marketing, people need to understand what it is that you talk about, and if they can say it in a small phrase or a few words, then it is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, what am I going to call it? Achievement thinking. Right, okay. So how am I going to break it down to sections that people will understand? And that's when I came up with the titles for the principles. And even now, it's under development because I'm getting help from talk about collaboration. People have seen me speak and said, "Will you do a half day on this or a full day?" And I've gone, "Well, no, because I don't know how to do a full day." And all of a sudden now I've got this help, and yourself is one of those people as well. And I've got a massive organisation, which I'm not going to name at this stage, that have said, "Yeah, we'll get our team to help you with this." So I don't know what's going on, but it's fantastic. I'm excited that I'll end up.
Best. It's that wheel of karma coming back round. That's what it is.
Well, there you go then. That's what it is. Well, thank you very much. So it's about giving and a taking. So that's brilliant. And that's what I talk about with collaboration. It's about giving and receiving. It's not just about giving and not giving back. It's about sharing at the end of the day and being open to receive.
Mm. And do you still do your magic as well now?
Yeah, I still do my magic, which is great because at the moment I seem to have about the right balance in my life. So, my passion is magic. And I still, after dinner, I still do a sophisticated comedy and magic act, comedy patter act, as they call it, after dinner. So I'm known as the laughter dinner speaker. But in my presentations, I also use magic to punctuate the messages that I mentioned. So, for instance, let's say that I'm talking about focus. I'll get somebody up on stage, and I will do a trick that everybody in the audience can see how the trick is done. Mm-hmm. But the guy on stage, even though he's watching closely, can't see how it's working, can't see how it works. So then we discuss, so where are you focusing? Because obviously he thinks he's focusing in the right place, but he's not. He's focusing obviously in the wrong place, and he's being distracted, which is often what happens in our lives. We get distracted. So then we discuss about focus, and then I put in there some tools that people can use about focusing.
Do you know, we mentioned before that you lost 7 stone. And I think there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 principles that you mentioned: slowing down, asking for help, collaboration, focus, having fun. Did you use those to lose, that 7 stone and weight? Because that is a lot of weight, and you've kept it off for a long time now. Did those principles, that achievement thinking, did that help you when you wanted to lose your weight?
Yes, and the way that worked was, first of all, question beliefs about food, because we think, oh, I must have a hot chocolate at 6 o'clock at night, or I can't start the day without a coffee. Unless I have a coffee, I can't. That's a common one, is that. Okay, are you going to die if you don't have a coffee? What's going to happen? So we have these beliefs that, once again, that I say are unhelpful. And I started questioning these beliefs that I had about food. I must eat a certain amount. I must eat this. I must have a pie after, or whatever it is, or I must have. So I changed those beliefs bit by bit, asking for help. I spoke to other people who lost weight, and I also did a lot of homework. I read loads of books on various diets. So I then decided to choose I'll put together a diet that was suitable for me. When I say suitable for me, that I would enjoy doing. And I didn't follow a particular diet. Then I it's staying focused, because quite often, especially when we're losing weight, it's like, I could do with a triple chocolate chip muffin right now. I really could do with it's just the one. I don't want the whole muffin, just a little chocolate chip will do me. That's all I want. And it's about staying focused. No, the end game is whatever it is for you, whatever the success is for you. For me, it was about being healthy, and being fit as well. And also for me, it was about lengthening my life. Yeah. Because I realized I was 50 years old at the time, so that was May 2010. I was 50.
How old are you now?
I'm 27 now. Because when you hit 50, your age goes. Did you not go? Your age goes backwards. Did you not know that?
Yeah, I heard something like that.
So you've got another. Anyway, anyway. So now I'm 54. 54 and a half, if you need to know.
Well, you're aging well.
Pardon?
You're aging well.
I am. I know. I sleep in a cryogenic chamber at night. So, cryogenic, not chronogenic, cryogenic chamber. So so it's about staying focused, and collaboration. Well, that rule I kind of didn't use. I didn't buddy up with anybody, but I did collaborate with mentors. So once again, I got advice that is closely associated to asking for help. And as far as having fun is concerned, I decided to make it a fun thing. So the way I did that was, quite often we focus on what we can't have. Instead, I focused on what I could have and the type of foods that I really enjoyed. So I'm going to have more of those foods. So here we go. And so I focused on having fun. And it was also fun the way watching the weight go down. So they were the way I used the 5 principles. And as far as keeping the weight off is concerned, March 2012 was when I decided I was at my target point. So what's that? 2012, 13, 14. So that's 2.25 years now.
But you've had it off. Wow, well done. So now when it's hard to lose, well, it can be hard to lose weight, and when you've lost such a large amount as well, you can fluctuate, but you've kept it off. That's really great.
I have fluctuated. I mean, I did from last October. I did put on. What did I put on? I put on about a stone and a half or something, which is pretty bad. So back in February, I started again. I'm thinking, no, this is not going to happen again.
Were you falling into bad habits? Because I know people always think, as I always get, I get things on my Twitter or my Facebook always saying, God, you're always such a happy, lively person. What is it? Well, actually, no, I'm not. No. You can fall into a bad habit. Were you thinking that or were you going back into a bad habit, or?
Well, yeah, it was just going back into bad habits again. But once again, I was developing the awareness and thinking, hang on a minute, what is going on here inside my head? So I started practicing the principles again. All right, what's going on? What are the beliefs that I've got? Right, get back on track. How is it that I put so much on again? At the moment, as of this moment, and then I went through the focusing on what I wanted to achieve, asking for the help that I needed when I needed it, and now, as of this morning, I think I'm at 3/4 pound overweight or something. So it'll always fluctuate within a couple of pounds either way.
Cold water.
That's whatever. Anyway.
It's water, so yeah, we're not worried about 3/4 pound.
I don't think
go back to something which I know a lot of people go through in their life. When you said that you were made redundant 3 times, but you decided to follow your passion, which was magic. What was the magic? What was the thing that you found?
I have fluctuated. I mean, I did, from last October, I did put on. What did I put on? I put on about a stone and a half or something, which is pretty bad. So back in February, I started again. I'm thinking, no, this is not going to happen again. So I started practicing the principles again. And
And
Yeah.
then, magic got you working for all these blue chip companies and, all that traveling around the world. I know you're an international speaker. So, still going back to what was the shift or the switch that you made in your head to think, right, do you know what? Were you always doing magic then? Or were you at
So
home or
at
in
the point, I think about 1979, I was about 19 years old. I started learning magic for real. When I say for real, as a kind of a hobby, if you like. And I only did it because I went to college to learn how to be a dispensing optician, and I thought it would be a good way of meeting girls. And you never guess what.
Oh, if magicians are listening, was it a good way of meeting girls?
No, it didn't work. Anyway, it didn't work. Seriously, it didn't work. Well, it didn't work. It might work for somebody else, but it didn't work for me. I don't think, hello, lovely, pick a card. I don't think that would work. I don't think that worked. But I found something that I was really passionate about that I really liked. And I mean, I still like girls, by the way. But, and so I started studying magic for real. And 2 years later, my magic was costing me a lot of money. There were books to buy, tricks to buy, lessons to have. And I thought I need to get the magic to pay for itself. So I decided to run it as a small business. So all the money that I earned, and I worked in local restaurants, and all the money that I earned, I just bought. So I declared everything to the tax and everything, but I was broke even at the end of the year. And then of course I had my daytime job when I was paying tax on that. So yeah, so it started off as a hobby, and when I was made redundant, I was running it as a business, but not really to make a profit. And I was working in a local restaurants maybe 2 nights a week, 2 or 3 nights a week. I was getting like 30 quid a night, something like that. And then I'd do the odd private party or wedding or whatever it might be at the time. So that was it. So that was the starting point.
And is that when you thought, yeah, look, gosh, I can make something out of this?
Yeah, I didn't realize the success I was going to have though, because for me it was just about paying for my bills. I decided to follow the corporate market, into the corporate market, and use magic to get a message across and work on exhibition stands to generate leads. And that's when things started to take off because I started using my magic on a commercial basis then.
And how did you get into that for anybody else who wants to get into that? Because that seems, from working in a restaurant, then all of a sudden you're working in a corporate environment, going around the world.
Well, no, I didn't all of a sudden start going around the world. It took, I mean, it was 12 years that I was it was 12 years from becoming a professional magician to having the crisis in confidence. And maybe it took about 6 years, maybe 6 to 8 years before I started working for nearly half of the, because I had to build up the business in that time. So it took that time to sort of start working for nearly half of the blue chip companies. So that's when things started working well for me, the sort of last 5 years or so, that 12-year period.
So it was good that you put your passion, your magic, with getting a message across, and now it's went into a totally different kind of message.
Yeah, and even then there were challenges for me, and I've had to stay focused because I find that I did some market research about maybe, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, saying, I went back to some old clients, and I said, why did you hire me? And three of them said, we love magicians anyway. I went to about 15 of them, not loads, but 3 of them said, we love magicians anyway. About 9 of them, 8 or 9 of them said, well, we only hired you because we saw you working, you were recommended to us. And then 3 of them said, well, to be perfectly honest, we only hire, I said to my managing director, I said to my chief executive, we should have this magician at our conference. And he said, no, we're not having a magician. We're not having Larry Starshine from Las Vegas, some techie magician doing tricks at our conference. It's serious. And the guy and the person said, no, this guy's good. And the CEO said, okay, on your head be it. And then afterwards, when they did all the sort of research, the feedback, they said, what was the best thing about the conference? The magician. So the challenge that I've had, even over the last few years, was the magic. My greatest asset was also my greatest hindrance.
Okay.
I think that happens in our lives a lot. The thing that we are so brilliant at tends to be the thing that sort of is part of our downfall as well, and vice versa. So I had to find a way of selling it. And the way I found of selling it was actually being in front of an audience. So you look at my website, fine, it says some really wonderful things, I've got some great video on there, but when they see me do what I do and the way that I do it, that's when people say, wow, yeah, we can see how this works. Because otherwise, people have a preconceived idea about it's a magician, it's Larry Starshine doing some tacky tricks or whatever. So they've got to see. So I worked out a marketing strategy as well, which works for me as well.
So, what advice would you give to somebody else that, that's being made redundant, or, they want to follow their passion, they want to pursue their passion? What advice would you give to them? Because you've done it and you're doing it really, really, you're doing it fantastically. So, what advice could you give to somebody else that wants to jump ship or just try something totally different?
If I think you have to follow your passion, but you've got to make sure that there is a market out there for it. And if there's no market for it, because you could be passionate about, I don't know, doing hairdos for rats, but if there isn't a demand for rats that want nice hairdos, then no matter how passionate you are, you ain't going to get any business. Now that I've said that, there's probably going to be loads of rats saying, we want our hairdo, whatever it might be.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's talking meerkats, so I'm sure there'll be rats that want the hairs.
Exactly, whatever it might be. But I hope you appreciate the point that I'm making.
Yeah.
So you've got to find something that you are really passionate about, and then either if there's a market, find a way of marketing it, or create a market for it. Because if you think about it, there are loads of things out there on the market where the market has been created. I mean, these currently, I don't know if I should say this. Is it they're called looms? These loops, these elastic bands.
Loom bands.
What?
Loom bands.
Well, I'm sorry, but to me, they're just elastic bands, right? But good, fair play to them, and fantastic. They're selling like I don't know what. Everybody would see, all kids seem to want these loom bands. Whereas, why don't you just get some straightforward elastic bands? But they found a way of marketing it. So good for them. So it's about finding a way of marketing what you do. And it took me a long while to find a way of marketing what I do.
Yeah.
So, and it's been thanks to people like you as well, and a lot of other friends that I've got that have been so supportive along the way. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Any other advice that you could give to people who want to pursue the passion?
So find the market, and you need to surround yourself with supportive people. Now, when I say supportive, they've got to be supportive and challenging. Now, supportive, in other words, they want you to succeed, but challenging where they can act as devil's advocate, because you don't want somebody to say, oh, you'll be wonderful, you'll be great, you'll be phenomenal. You want somebody to challenge you to say, right then, okay, so if you're going to do this, who are you going to sell this to? To ask you that kind of question. So how are you going to market this? Well, okay, convince me. And then you might do your sales pitch to them. You might say, no, I'm not convinced. We need to find another way of you to sell it. So they will help you put together a sales pitch or whatever. But that's what I mean by being supportive and challenging at the same time. Mm-hmm. And be focused. Stick, be determined. If you honestly believe, actually, the phrase is believe in yourself. Mm-hmm. When you go to bed at night, all you must do is visualize whatever that success is. Visualize that success. Visualize it happening as if it was real as you are falling to sleep.
It's such a huge thing to trust in yourself. And I know that it might sound a bit woo, but believing in yourself and trusting yourself is huge, and nobody else can do it apart from you. Yeah. And I remember myself, from my own story growing up, and even teachers that said, oh, Karen, you're not going to do anything with yourself and blah, blah, blah. But I believed in myself. I believed in myself that I'd be on television. I believed in myself that I'd be in top soaps. I trusted in myself that I just had this feeling that I knew it was going to happen, and that belief and nothing would stop me. And I did it. And I think just having that trust in yourself, it makes such a huge difference to what you want to go on and succeed within your life. And like you said before, success, what I always say, success is whatever it is for you. And you mentioned in your story before that 12 years it took you from making that shift. But 12 years, it's always investing in yourself, and that's what's really interesting. Is an
Yeah.
inspirational speaker, which you are, and I know you're always working on yourself all the time,
Yeah.
and that's a huge thing. So I think people always think coaches, inspirational speakers, your life's sorted. Well, no, it's not, because like you mentioned, that life, it comes with challenges all the time, doesn't it?
I think you'll find, I found that whatever you do, nothing seems to be wasted. And what I mean by that is, whatever. So I went down the magic route. Okay, I did well, but then the magic worked against me. So you could say, I mean, because you know there have been times when I've actually been close to tears, thinking, am I on the right track? Am I doing the right thing? Are you an idiot? You shouldn't be doing magic because people think you're a child or something or whatever. They're not going to take it seriously. So it's about staying focused and learning all those things usually adds to your character, and you will be able to use it in later life. So there are things, for instance, where I put together a course to teach executives how to do magic. Never went anywhere. I deliver that course from time to time to executives, but not really all that successful. But having said that, all that information that I've got there, I have used to help kids learn magic and help build their self-esteem. So you still use that in your presentations. And in my presentation today, I'll use something where I can teach somebody how to do a magic trick, and it helps them to get a message across and help build their self-esteem in some way. But nothing is wasted. All that experience that you have, it all accumulates.
How do you keep your focus, John? Because focus is such a huge thing. And I know for myself, I'm best focused in the morning. I'm great at waking up really early in the morning. I work out in the morning. I know that if I catch myself up until about 11 o'clock, that's when I get my best work done. That's when really, I'm on board with focus. About yourself, how do you keep focus? Because I know you are a very focused man. How do you keep that energy of that focus?
Right. So one thing you need to remember, it becomes harder to focus. In fact, you mentioned it becomes harder to focus the more tired you become. So if you're feeling really tired, you'll think, oh, I can't be bothered. So a good night's sleep, because like you, I do my best to have a good night's sleep. I go to bed early if I can. Mind you, having said that, I get up early as well. So, but I have as much sleep as I possibly can. During the day, I start off with a meditation, and as I'm meditating, quite often I'll ask myself the question: is what I'm focusing on right now taking me towards or away from what I want to achieve? So we need to know what it is. You need to know what it is that you want to achieve first of all. So here's what I'm doing right now, taking me towards or away from what I want to achieve. As I'm meditating, I will let that thought go, and then my subconscious mind quite often will come up with things that I should be doing or things that I should be letting go of. Or it might answer, yeah, you're focusing in the right place, stay on track. And also a good question to ask is what I'm doing right now, taking me towards or away from what I want to achieve. Throughout the day, even if I'm really, really busy, I will do my best around about between 1:30 and 2 o'clock to pause for 5 to 10 minutes and just go still. And once again, I'll ask myself the question: is what I'm doing right now taking me towards or away from what it is that I want to achieve? Mm. And quite often what I find is in the middle of the afternoon, when I do that about 1:30, because of what's happening in the morning, because let's say we don't have a day of admin, emails come in, you've got things to sort out that you didn't have to sort out first thing in the morning. So quite often at that time, my subconscious mind will say, no, you're being distracted by these emails. You really need to do the emails later on. You need to now make phone calls, for instance, because there are people in the office now. And another little trick that I use is that if I'm really busy during the day and I'm going from one task to another, to another, to another, I'll do my best as I finish one task to spend at least 1 minute, 2 minutes max before I go on to the next task. And what I will do is I will go quiet and I will go still. And once again, my subconscious mind will say, right, I'm kind of letting go of what it is that I'm thinking about the last task. I'm thinking, right, so the next task, should I be doing this next task? Is there something else that I should be doing? Okay, if I'm doing this next task, what is it that I should be doing about this? That would be the most important thing to do first. So I'll do my best to do that. And when it comes to meditation, and I say this when to my audiences, quite often people say, but we're busy people. We don't have time to meditate, or we don't have time to be still. And I say, okay, let's carry out a little survey by a show of hands. How many of us during the day go to the toilet? And virtually everybody puts their hands up. And I say, well, why are you going to the toilet? You haven't got the time. So I've got an idea. When you're at the toilet, go into the cubicle, close the door, do what you've got to do, and then just lean against the wall for a couple of minutes, put your smartphone on, and just go still. Take half a dozen to a dozen deep breaths, but you've got to be careful about your deep breaths, because if there's somebody outside the cubicle, they might wonder what's going on inside. Just go quiet, and then you've got your little meditation. And as we know also that meditation is great for helping stress as well, for calming yourself down. So,
Yeah. Well, as you know, I'm a huge advocate for meditation. It's been absolutely life-changing for me.
You are a massive advocate of meditation.
Yeah.
At times during the day, because otherwise you're going to be in meditation.
Well, it's been life-changing, and it's helped me. You know, people always say, are you busy? Are you busy? And yes, sometimes there's been times in my life I've been so busy with work and it's taken over my life, actually. It's a choice I've made for myself. I don't want to be that busy person that doesn't feel like they're having a life. They feel like they're always working. And meditation gives me that feeling that actually during that 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is that I take for myself. I mean, yesterday it was only 10 minutes. But that 10 minutes was great because I had 10 minutes for me.
Exactly.
Before I was giving to everybody else, you know, coaching and whatever else I was doing yesterday, doing some filming. That 10 minutes was that time that I was giving back to myself to re-energize myself. And it's helped me to become, and it sounds cheesy, a better person, but I'm better to work with. And I take, you know, situations, I react to them differently. And I can be there for people differently as well.
Exactly.
So being fantastic in that way.
Calmer, and it does help with the focus, because if we don't, like I said, the basic principles, I suppose, are slowing down and developing an awareness. Because if we don't slow down, then we're just in automatic mode. We just so it's hard to do, and it can be hard to do. And by the way, if there are people out there who are uncomfortable with the word meditation, because I found that some people are, because they think, no, I can't meditate because I'm not hugging a tree. Do you think I'm going to hug a tree? I'm not doing that, you know. So try one of these words if it feels whatever word feels more comfortable for you. You can try prayer, you can try stillness, visualization, and what's the other word? Reflection is a good word. Reflection. It's all about getting the body to be still, and then stilling the mind or focusing the mind if you possibly can. So whichever word you feel comfortable with, go with that.
So, John, I know you've got a birthday coming up. Oh, it's already been your birthday, actually, wasn't it? Was it the 19th of June? 25 years in business.
25 years in business. That's it. So, 25 years as, let me see, as 25 years as a speaker, a humorist, and a magician. And I can't believe it. It's amazing.
I know. 25 years to keep in business. That is fantastic. So how have you managed that? And what's special about this 25 years for you and everybody else that's part of it?
Well, for me, it's the fact that I've actually got this far in 25 years. And I suppose there are loads of sort of life. My celebration is some of the life lessons that I've learned. And for me, it's about being, when I look at myself, even compare myself to 6 years ago, certainly when I compare myself to 14 years ago, there are massive changes in my life. And like you, I seem calmer, I seem more focused. And being focused does not necessarily mean that I'm busy all the time. It just means that I'm enjoying my life more. When I say there's more balance in my life, I would love there to be balance in my life at all times. But from time to time, we all have that imbalance where we're either too busy doing work or we're not busy enough that we're not working at all. But I'm more balanced from that point of view, but I'm also certainly balanced as a character and a personality, if you like. It's also people quite have said to me, "Oh, you don't seem all that excited." And the answer to that is that my main lesson that I've learned is, and I'm not being positive or negative when I say this, if something bad happens in your life, it'll pass. If something good happens in your life, it'll pass. They're just events. We either like those events or we dislike those events. We can enjoy them or we might not enjoy them. But at the end of the day, they're just event. Life is not doing anything, it's nothing personal against you. If everything's going wrong in your life, it's not that life's going, I'm going to have a go at this person. And if everything's going well, it doesn't mean that, oh, I'm just going to be helpful to this person. They're just events. I agree with you that there is karma. So whatever you put into life, you'll get out of it. Mm. But at the end of the day, they're just events.
So how come, if somebody wants to get, hear more about you and hear about these events, which is it every week or?
So what I decided to do to celebrate,
yeah,
I recorded 25 vlogs. So one for each year that I'm celebrating. So if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, so just look up my name, Hotowka, Hotowka. Subscribe to my channel, and you'll see that every 2 weeks I send out a vlog. So the next one is due this Thursday, which is the 17th of July. That's the third vlog that's going out. Mm-hmm. And the only week I will miss will be the week between Christmas and New Year's. That'll be the only week that I miss. They're fun, they're entertaining, they're insightful, and there are little tools in there that people will hopefully be able to use for their own self-empowerment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's brilliant. And can you leave us with anything else before we go? Because it's time to wrap up now. The time goes so quick, and thanks for all the nuggets that you've given us, John.
All right, fine, because I've got it. Okay, I don't know if I can do this. Let's try this. Okay. Oh, no, I don't think this is going to work, but we'll try this, okay? Right? Piece of paper?
Yeah.
Piece of paper, right? Okay, I'll do this ever so slowly. Very slowly indeed. Very slowly indeed. Look at that! 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 That's my trick! That's my trick! I did it in one take, right? No cuts or anything, right? £20.
The only horrible thing is, though, I can't. We were giving them away before. Can you send me that one in the post?
No, it's mine. It's mine. You can't have it. I made it. Don't tell the tax man. Whatever you do, that I make out of paper. Don't tell him that.
Oh, John, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. Keep going strong, and I wish you every success. And I know you don't need it because you're doing amazing. So, keep doing what you're doing, John. And thank you very much.
Every success you get. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So to everybody who's watching, thank you very much. We've got another Dream Alchemist TV next week with a young lady who has survived all the odds. Her name is Hannah Kennedy Jackson. Her story is unbelievable, what this young lady has gone through and what she's succeeded with. So please tune in. That'll be the same time, 6:30 next Monday, which is the 21st of July, and we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you, and thank you once again, John.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.